Ooh, the M2 Mac Mini is a pretty darn unique piece of technology. This machine is both cheaper and better than the model that came before it. And if that's not unique in today's hyper-constrained and inflated marketplace, I don't know what is. And you know what? You should totally buy one. Easily the first reason somebody should buy the M2 Mac Mini is the price. I don't know that you can beat a fully functional, legitimately high-powered computer for $599. And yes, that is $100 less than the previous M1 Mac Mini. That's awesome, because personally, I thought the M1 Mac Mini was a fantastic bargain for its opening price point too. What that price buys you is the latest 8-core M2 standard processor, 10-core GPU, 8GB of unified memory, and a 256GB solid-state drive. Not the wildest specs you'll find on the market, and we will talk more about performance in a second, but you have to remember, everything that we talk about today, everything in this entire video, that this costs under $600. Well, I guess that depends on where you buy it. If you buy it in a state without sales tax like Delaware, that's true. But if you buy it anywhere else, then it's slightly more expensive. But either way, it's still a great value. You can even spec this out more than the M1 if needed, and you can turn it into a beast of a machine with a 12-core M2 Pro processor, 19-core GPU, 32GB of unified memory, and an 8TB solid-state drive. And as a really serious bonus, you can even get a 10GB Ethernet port on the back of it. Now, one nitpick on specs, I do wish that if you were buying the M2 Pro model in any way, shape, or form, I just kind of wish the 10GB came with it. Like, I'm already spending half of a roof's replacement amount of money. Give me more connectivity just on top, just sprinkle it in. All of those beefy specs included will cause this little thing, this little computer that is about the same size as a book, it'll cost $44.99. Dang, those hard drive upgrades really catch up to you after a while. All of that leads into the second reason to buy the M2 Mac Mini, the versatility. Are you somebody that just needs a family computer? Are you a student living in the dorm/apartment? Are you in office trying to build out a series of networked computers? Awesome, that $599 model is gonna be insane to beat. You will do everything that 95% of folks need, and it can easily fit under a desk. However, are you somebody that needs a pretty serious workstation for compiling code, processing a wedding's worth of photos, or you just like spending money to have phenomenal cosmic power in a teeny tiny little living space? Well, that $44.99 model is going to be really hard to beat for the professionals among us. Normally, when you try to get 12-core processors, beefy GPUs, all that storage, and active memory, you need something roughly the size of a custom PC, and those are much louder, bigger, and while yes, they have absolutely legit benefits, it's sometimes nice to have a computer that is just so simple. I do wish you could upgrade these on your own like a custom PC. Life is all about trade-offs. I know here on YouTube, life is not about trade-offs. Life is about stark emotional differences that we can monetize, but personal consumer technology is not immune to needing trade-offs. The next reason to buy the M2 Mac Mini is absolutely the performance. Like I said earlier, at any level or any price range, this is an objectively better computer than its predecessor for less money. Well, unless you go the upgrade path that didn't exist on the M1, then it's an infinite amount more money, because going from nothing to anything is infinite, right? I try not doing math stuff off the top of my head. And no, before you start typing, I still don't care about SSD gate or whatever the clickbaiters are calling it this time around. That is not even close to a bottleneck of a performance on a computer like this. Personally, I've started moving away from running my own benchmarks because I'm just some guy in a basement and I'm not a professional tech analyst. But from the general consensus around the internet and the numbers that Apple has provided us, we can see that the M2 and the M2 Pro are a decent step up from their M1 and M1 Pro variants. Something else about the performance that I really like is just how quiet of a machine this is to use. I would like to make a note that the specific model I've been using has the M2 standard processor, so this might change if you have that $4,500 powerhouse, but much like the M1 Mini, I never hear this thing. The fans exist and the cooling system is there, and you have to do the standard move your hand behind it to actually know that air is coming out of it. But I've never heard anything on this computer at all. And I have been doing very long sessions of World of Warcraft Classic, which yes, I play too much, but I do think that's a good benchmark since very few other games are optimized for Apple Silicon. Even when I was sitting down at my computer typing out the script, my custom PC is audibly droning on in the background. Now, I've been saying this for actual years at this point. It's crazy that it's been actual years. But it still stands that if you want to be irritated by all computer noise in the future, start using an M1 or M2 computer. Everything else makes so much more noise in comparison. But in use, the M2 has felt surprisingly sharp. I mean, we've seen the numbers and we've seen the bar charts already, but in actual use, it feels faster. That could have a few different causes. One, I've recently moved to a 240 hertz monitor, which if a computer can handle it, it will make This monitor makes anything feel faster and crisper. It could be the updated graphical capabilities that did not exist in the M1, but those encoders do exist on the M1 Pro and all the M2 processors, because video editing on even the cheapest thing here, it feels like cheating. And it could just be that I want it to feel faster, so it does. All of these things go into the subjectivity that is a YouTube video. But that hasn't stopped it from feeling really good for me to work on. The next major reason to buy this is very similar to why you should have bought an M1 Mac Mini. The port selection on this computer are darn near perfect, and this time around, it's even more perfecter. I don't know why I write like this. It's even better than the M1. You get everything. HDMI, Thunderbolt 4, more or less depending on the variation of the Mini you buy, Ethernet, headphone, USB-A, thank goodness, USB. I typed this script on a custom keyboard that I upgraded and customized myself, and it's USB-A to the max. And like we said earlier, if you need that extra bandwidth oomph, for $100 you can upgrade to 10 gigabit Ethernet. It's so good. The only thing that I really consider missing here is a DisplayPort section, but Thunderbolt to DisplayPort cables aren't that expensive anymore. You can have so many monitors plugged into this little computer, it's really striking. Back on the M1 Mini, you could have two, a 4K and a 6K, but now you can have up to 3 displays, 2 being 6K and 1 being 4K. Having that additional monitor can be huge for some folks. I'm a single monitor person myself, but I know a lot of folks, especially those working from home, need multiple monitors, and limiting those was always a crazy part of the M1 standard for me. Look, the M2 Mac Mini is phenomenal. There is no other way to put it. It hits the very rare occurrence where it's better than its predecessor in every marked way. It's far more versatile with customization options, taking it from a cheap home computer to a legit powerhouse processing machine. It's still small enough to fit anywhere, has ports for days, and it does all of these things, and it's still cheaper than the model that came before it. That's as close to a triple crown win as you are going to get, and it's so good because it's a rare, very rare over the past year tech product that I think makes a lot of sense to buy new instead of buying an older generation refurbished model. Obviously, if you don't need a computer right this second, you can wait this out for a few months and even get this for even cheaper refurbished. So, shake it up and actually go out and see what you really need before buying. And if you like this video, but you want to find how this specifically held up after 48 hours of solid use, click here. Click, 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 click. Thanks for watching.